Hi, and welcome to Adding Light Sources section of our audio and visual course. In this section, we will explore how to use lights in our Unity games and how to apply global illumination. Let's get started with using lights in your Unity game. In this video, we're going to explore lighting in Unity. This is important because without lights, we would not be able to see anything in our game world. Our exploration will include a look at different types of lights, light components, and how we can modify lighting behaviors in our game. Here we have a scene created with sample assets from Unity. You can see that there's quite a few lights already in the scene. We have on the top left here is the scene view, and the bottom left is the game view. So we can see the effects of the changes that we make. So let's experiment. Let's go to Game Object, Light, and you see there are four different types of lights. There's directional light, which is kind of like the sun, and we'll show that here momentarily. There's a point light, which is like a light bulb without a lampshade. A spotlight is kind of like a flashlight, and an area light is something that's used when we bake images into the textures, and that's not something that we're going to cover today. So in this video, we're going to talk about the directional light, point light, and spotlight. So let's go ahead and pick one. Remember I said the spotlight was like a flashlight, so let's add that. So here is a spotlight in the scene view, and you can see in the game view, you see the little spotlight right there. So with any other game object, there are things in the inspector view that we can do to change. First, we know that we can use the transform tools. Now, if I rotate this image, you see that the light doesn't change. But if I rotate on this axis, it will. So let's simulate that this is a light that's on top of a car. So I'm going to use the transform tools to move it to approximately right above the car. And then we'll rotate it and just move it so that the light can actually be seen. Now we're shining it on the wall, and it's hard to see, so let's go to the inspector view. And in the light section, we have baking, which again, we said that's a type of lighting where we can generate the light before we run the game. What we're doing right now is using dynamic lighting that will be rendered during the game. So you see the spot angle as I slide it to the right, it widens. I'm going to go to about midway and change the intensity, and you see that's making it a lot brighter. You can see down the bottom in game mode where that's very well illuminated, and then we increase the spot angle and we see how much light is there, and we can of course rotate this to point the light in any direction we want to. The other thing we can do is here in color, we can pick the color of the light, and you can see it immediately changes. So whatever makes sense to you. Okay, I'm going to delete that spotlight, and I'm going to create another one. I'm going to go to Game Object Light, and that was a spotlight. Let's do a directional light, which we said that was like the sun. So you can see as we put it in the game world in our scene, it immediately lit up the entire space. So if we go to the intensity, we could turn that down a bit, balance intensity, we could change the color if we wanted to. And you'll see here as I'll turn this intensity up so you can see the effects. When I rotate this, it does have direction. You can see these rays are showing you the direction of it. You can see that as I change the y-axis here, it has no change. Same thing with the X and Z, rotation matters as well as color intensity and bounce intensity. So if this is where if it was an inferno, change it to red, call it a day. I'm going to delete that light and let's create one more. And let's do a point light. And you see the shape here is a light bulb, and it's like a bare light bulb is how it's described. And you can see here that as we change it, it's like moving a light bulb that's suspended in the air. And here, because it's a bare light bulb, if we were to rotate it, it would have no effect. on any axis. In this video, we talked about two types of lighting, dynamic and baked, and we focused on the dynamic type of lighting. And then we added three different light components. We added a spotlight, a directional light, and a point light. And we modified the lighting behaviors by changing the range, the color, and the intensity.